This episode is brought to you by Bellatoris Publishing, bringing stories to the world that last forever.
Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
The husband and wife podcast talking all things fantasy fiction.
I'm JC.
And I'm Sian.
And today we're starting our read-along of The Will of the Many with chapters 1 to 10. And just heads up, we might use strong language and explore adult themes.
You can rest easy that there will be no spoilers from beyond chapter 10 of The Will of the Many. From now on, consider us your fantasy buddy readers.
And before we start, quick reminder, if you love our content and want even more, plus early access to episodes, monthly bonus content, and completely ad-free experience, you can become one of our supporters. You can try for free now and cancel anytime. For the best deal, visit faithfullyfantasy.com or just subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts for instant access. Don't miss out and unlock the extra content waiting for you.
Also, if you're enjoying the show, please take a second to rate us wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all of it. It helps more fantasy lovers find us, and it's one of the easiest ways to support what we do. A quick tap and you've made our day.
Okay then, for the first time in this new season, let's dive into...
Wait, what just happened? Buckle up in the Transvect, because there's a lot to cover in the first 10 chapters. Meet Vis, part-time prison worker, part-time underground fighter, full-time pro at not giving in. He spends his days tending to Catenan prisoners in Latens, where the evening shift includes mysterious strangers who interrogate inmates in dead languages. And we get a glimpse of the sappers, where the lowest level of citizens in the Catenan Republic are drained of their will to fuel the elite. When a strange Senate-approved visitor shows up, Vis ends up understanding more than he should. He ends up touching a sapper, but it can't drain him. Suspicious? The stranger's poker face says definitely. After hours, Vis moonlights as a naked brawler at Fight Club. Tonight's main event? Battling a Sextus, which in Catenan society, think magical pyramid scheme, is league after league above Vis. The crowd expects a bloodbath. Instead, what happens at Fight Club stays at Fight Club, and Vis goes full underdog rage and wipes the floor with his opponent. It's so shocking, even the bookies don't know where to hide. Of course, this earns Vis a one-way ticket out of the ring. Cheating's the only explanation, apparently. No cash, no more fights, just the sweet sting of being misunderstood. Back at the orphanage, the matron's not winning any Guardian of the Year awards. She's all about discipline for those who won't cede their will, and Vis refuses to join the mass ceremony that turns teens into magical batteries for the Republic. Instead, he maintains his totally not from around here story. He claims to be a Kyrian, the land the Catenans conquered ages ago. And here's the twist. Vis is rapidly approaching his 18th birthday, aka Magical Conscription Day. Enter the Quintus, who turns out to be the same suspicious stranger from the prison. Now with official adoption papers, he's actually Ulciscor Telemus, high-ranking Catenan senator and all-round schemer. Ulciscor's keen eye spots Vis's unique talents, understanding forbidden languages, immunity to sappers, and a head full of knowledge. Ulciscor makes Vis an offer he can't refuse. Join the Telemus family, enjoy the perks, and minor detail, act as Ulciscor's undercover informant. The mission? Infiltrate the Catenan Academy on the island of Solivargus and find out what the religious pyramid's up to, because there might just be a secret weapon hidden among the ruins. If Vis succeeds, he's set for life. But wait, there's airborne drama. Aboard a Transvect, think flying tram powered by the will, and the plot quite literally explodes. Raiders attack, Ulciscor takes an arrow to the calf, and Vis fends off resistance fighters called the Anguis, who would rather recruit with violence than a sign-up sheet. Enter Sadosha, mysterious archer, queen of dramatic entrances, and the only one who knows Vis's true identity. He's Diego, a lost prince from the conquered kingdom of Zeus. She gives him a month to join her cause, or she'll out his royal secret to the world. Our battered heroes crash land at the academy. Vis wakes in the infirmary, faced by two would-be friends, Indol and Emissa. He's immediately grilled by the charming Principalis Viridius Vis, who Ulciscor suspects is up to some mischief with the ancient ruins on the island. Ulciscor, battered but alive, fills Vis in on the real assignment and the shadow of tragedy. His own brother died at the academy during a savage magical contest known as the Ludicium. They head to Ulciscor's home in the country to prepare to join the ranks of the academy at the start of next term. So, that was a lot. To sum up, Vis is now a student, a spy, a secret prince, and wanted in every major faction in the Republic. He's got 1 month to decide which power to cross, which secrets to keep, and how to survive long enough to graduate the academy. That was a long one.
Way to start, isn't it?
I know, and it's such a complicated set of chapters that you really have to, I couldn't cut any of the detail out. That's sorry, I tried to make it shorter.
Yes. No, but it was a really good summary. So
Okay.
I think in these 10 chapters, everything, at least the bullet points, is all there. So
Yeah.
well done.
Oh, thanks. Take a bow.
Yes. And for the very first time in this season, it's time for Confirmed, Cursed, or Completely Unhinged.
If you remember, this is the part of the show where we either get to bank those bragging rights or have a good laugh at ourselves for being way too wild in our previous theories. And as this is the first one, we need to go back to the Convince Me to Read episode and cover what you thought. Is this book anything like what you thought? So you looked at the cover and you said it gave you Greek or Roman vibes.
Yes. So definitely it has something Roman and everything. I think maybe in the world building, even in the names, maybe the kind of like the culture. So you can tell there's a big influence in the Roman Empire.
Yeah. I think that's probably it for this week. I mean, we'll get to next week. Hopefully you'll have lots of theories from today and we'll be able to confirm next week if they are confirmed, cursed, or completely unhinged. Shall we go to screaming, crying, throwing god swords? Our seasoned listeners will know that this is the part of the show where we talk about how we're feeling, what we think about the book, and ask any questions we have about the characters and the plot from this week's read-along. So how are you feeling about The Will of the Many so far?
I had to confess that in the first pages when I was reading, I felt a little bit confused. There was a couple of times that maybe I had to reread again. But once I was going through all the plot, all the story, I started to feel really intrigued about what was going on. And now after finish chapter 10, I really want to know what's coming next, because I start to feel they're building up such a massive expectation about what's going to happen in the academy. And now I want to see what it's going to be.
Do you remember what the turning point was when you were you went from confused to hooked?
I think maybe it was when we found out that after he left the prison, when he was there looking after the prisoners, he was as well a fighter. And then when we start to see little bits that he is a prince, I was like, oh, okay. So I wasn't expecting that. So
yeah,
intrigue.
With this book, I was hooked right from the beginning, and that very, very rarely happens. The other book that had me hooked from the beginning that I've read recently was Metal Slinger, but it doesn't happen very often. Fourth Wing, I was really interested, but it took until Threshing for me to be at the point where I really couldn't put it down. So The Will of the Many hooked me from the beginning. It is confusing, like most fantasy books. This one is made doubly confusing by the amount of Latin there is in it. Yeah. But I just got hooked from the beginning. I was intrigued by the game that they were playing, Foundation. I was intrigued by the sappers, the idea that this orphan was immune to a sapper, so much stuff.
Yes.
I was already, my theory brain was already kicking in. And reading it for a second time, I am absolutely loving it. I was so excited to go back, but I'm spotting so many things.
Really? So in this reread, you feeling the smaller stuff that maybe you didn't pick it up the first time?
Yeah. The stuff I forgot about. So stuff that I noticed, obviously, as I read, and didn't think, oh, that's going to happen later, or that's going to come back later. There are so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't wait to see what you had to say about all this stuff as well.
Who was your favourite character? I bet I can guess, but who was your favourite character this week?
I mean, there was really interesting characters and all this story, but I spent most of the time was with Vis, and he's definitely my favorite character in this week because he is somebody that really cares about people. It's something that even the prisoner was saying, that he is really gentle when he has to go through all of them. He's a good fighter as well. Even when he's not like the biggest or the bulkiest, he is really intelligent. He's really smart, and he put all these things together to go ahead and go after a Sextus. It's supposed to be like, I don't know, 56 times stronger than him or something like this. So definitely, it was a really interesting character because it's smart, it's strong, and it's like prepared for everything.
Yeah, I love Vis, obviously. Like, he's one of my favourite. I think I say this in every book that we cover. It's one of my favourite main characters. What I love about him is he's naturally powerful, but he has got space to grow. Like, he is flawed. He's got issues. Like, he's got anger issues, like rage. He can't control his temper. And that's one of the things that Ulciscor points out. He acts like he knows a lot, but he actually is sometimes quite wrong. And he has to be careful about that. Both Ulciscor and Sedocia, our very high-ranking rebellion leader, they both point out, they both know that he is not ready for the academy. And it makes it believable because he's like plucked out of, it's kind of a riches to rags to riches story, isn't it? Because he's come from royalty, but then he's lost his family. He's gone to an orphanage where it's like a really tough life. He works really hard, and this isn't a life he ever was prepared for. He was prepared for
royalty.
Nobility, royalty. And I just love that he just kind of gets on with it, but you can tell that there's a space for him to grow. So he's not the perfect main character. He's not instantly strong. You know that he's going to struggle. He gets injured with the wound to his stomach, and his shoulder gets hit when he falls from the transvect. So he's not all powerful.
Yeah, you can tell there's a good base there. So it's going to be in good shape.
Yeah. I think we should do like MVP of the week, though, because we're at risk of this being our favorite character every week. So maybe the question needs to be, who is the most valuable player? You know, when you're playing a video game, and you get an award for being the MVP, who is the most valuable player in this week's set of chapters? And that means like who moves the story along. And I think it has to be Ulciscor.
Yeah, definitely.
He is so intriguing. He has come in, he's a senator. He's very, very powerful, like incredibly powerful. He's gone to an orphanage, and all those kids were super excited. They were like, oh, maybe this is the one. I'm going to get adopted. Imagine being plucked from an really low orphanage and being raised by a Quintus, which is like obviously the 5th most powerful level.
Yes.
And he's taken Vis, and he is super intriguing. He has his own personal vested interest in solving the mysteries of the island. You don't quite know, he kind of is obviously sanctioned by the military, but you don't quite know if they know everything he's up to. He's super intriguing.
Definitely Ulciscor is one of the most important characters in these first 10 chapters. But also, I will give you some credit to Sedocia, because even when you see her twice in these 10 chapters, she is the one who is being like preparing everything to make this happen. So I was really intrigued to know like how does she know who is actually Vis? And then she knows as well Ulciscor, and she was like making sure that he was going to where Vis there, and he was going to notice Vis. So she was playing chess, basically.
She had to avoid him.
Yeah.
You are in for such a treat when you learn more about Sidosha. Sidosha's obviously not her real name. We know that because she gave Vis. But when you find out who she is.
Real name, maybe.
Yeah, there's a hint in the name.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so excited. She is a really cool character.
Yes.
And the intriguing part is that Vis says that she can't be much older than him.
Mm-hmm.
She knows who he is as well. And then so for the reader, she is very valuable because she explains that he is Diego. That is his real name. We will call him Vis because we're going to go along with his illusion that he is Vis Telemus now. Were there any Vec or rotting gods moments? There's some really good curses in this book, by the way. Or any key things that just jumped out at you?
Well, definitely that fight against the Sextos, because everything started, he just want to last enough in that fight to make some money and obviously to survive. But then when the Sextos start to talk about the family and he start to lose it and start to losing control and go against the Sextos, I thought like, wow, that is really powerful, because I thought he will never go for like trying to win, or I think even in this moment he's not even thinking he's going to win. He just completely unhinged, go after him, and he just hit until he realized that he's not standing up anymore.
So I don't think we learn anything more about this Sextus guy, and I could be wrong. I could have completely forgotten it, but it made the reread kind of made me think, why would a Sextus go into that? Because they're quite powerful. Like a Sextus is 2 ranks above the bottom. They have the will of quite a few people. I'm not going to do 56 people.
Yes.
Why would a Sextus be doing that? Why would, let's say Sidosha has something to do with it. Why would Sidosha want to put a Sextus up against Vis? Because she knows he can win.
Yeah.
She wants Ulciscor to see it, or she wants, because she's there, he's there, they're trying to avoid each other. Like, it must have been her, right, that set that up.
I'm not sure, because everything is set up as a punishment for him, because he's been beating up all the other ones. There was a rank below the Sextos. And apparently,
Septimus.
Yes, the Septimus. And it's been like really easy for him, that he was even like feeling proud of himself, like how easy it's been managing, doing this kind of stuff. And then it was like a punishment. But he say as well that since that this guy is like, maybe he wasn't a lot of debt, and maybe this fight was just to make some quick money. And I think in some point as well, they said that maybe he's not even like getting all the will that he's supposed to get, because he, for the rank, he should be able to get 56 will from people, but it seems that he didn't get that many. Yeah,
well, and it does get halved, doesn't it? Because he gives his will to his Quintus.
Yes.
If he's got a Quintus, but most pyramids peak at Sextus anyway, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And there's things that we learn that Vis, clearly, this is one of his flaws as well. He doesn't know everything. He's very intelligent, but this is another example of why Ulciscor needs to take him home to learn stuff before he can pass in the academy, because Vis doesn't know. He assumes that the Sextus can imbue his clothes, and he could use his clothes against him, like suffocate him or something. But Ulciscor puts that out of his head. He says, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
He can't do that. And it shows that Vis still doesn't really understand the intricacies of the power of the hierarchy. So he's overestimating the power of a Sextus in that situation. Yeah. But he does go out naked. He completely, he says he wanted to distract him as well, but the biggest issue was that he thought that the Sextus could imbue his clothes.
Other thing that it really made me feel a little bit excited when I was reading these chapters, pretty much like the last chapter, chapter 10, when Vis is in the academy, and then without even realizing, Viridius, the man that he needs to spy for Ulciscor, is there healing him, and it seems that he's just such a good guy, and they have like a really good connection there. There's a moment they two like smile each other with a joke. So it was something unexpected for me as well. And I thought, oh, this is interesting, because it made me think, what's the author going to do here? Is it going to be that maybe Ulciscor is the bad guy all the way along, and then it's maybe misunderstanding Viridius stuff or whatever he's doing here? Or is this Viridius so evil that he looks such a nice guy, but then we're going to say that he is just such an evil person?
It's so interesting, because you've jumped to my, like, I think that's like my biggest theory for the whole series. And I want to get into why a little bit later.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump into it. But interesting, because we don't have confirmation in this book about that. But okay. I strongly suspect that Ulciscor and Viridius are not necessarily on the sides that we think they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited to hear what you think of my theory later when I tell you.
Were there any parts that jump out for you in this reread?
Yeah, the reread's totally different, because obviously, well, like I said, I think I've forgotten a lot of it. I think I just raced through it because I loved this book, but I think I didn't pick up on the small details. The students in the infirmary, obviously, like, you can, it's not going to be a spoiler, but you can gather that Vis is going to get to know some students when he actually goes to the academy for real.
Yeah.
Those two characters are really important. And
it gave me the vibe like Harry Potter meeting Ron and Hermione right there.
Kind of. It's a bit more complicated than that, because you got to remember these are not kids. They're like 17 or 18, and they're very highly political because they've been raised by different senators, and so they're all like kind of super rich and very highly,
They're coming from family that belongs to the army or something like that, I think.
Yeah, so you never know like what somebody's motivations are. But we really get to know those people later on. Mm-hmm. And I just forgot, because the names were just in passing, and then later you get to know people, and now the reread, they jump out at me. Especially like the fact that, can we trust the narrator in that point, at that point in time? So Vis is obviously conceals the truth. How much truth is he concealing from us as the reader is a super interesting point. And also the bit where Ulciscor says they might have given you something in the drink, and then you wouldn't even have known that you said something. I can't remember if he said something or not. So now I'm like racking my brains to be like, can we trust him in that moment? Is the dialogue that's on the page actually what he said? Mm-hmm. And there's so much to come with those characters, and I'm really excited to remember what it is. So I feel kind of like you in that this is definitely a reread for me. So I know the major plot points, but those little details I'm really excited to find more of.
Yeah.
Also, the first meeting with Sadosha.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think too much about that the first time. I was kind of like, well, you've got the Anguis, who are the rebellion. Mm-hmm. But I think it's super interesting. And also in this kind of moment in time in the real life where geopolitics is crazy. And you never know. You wake up in the morning and you've got a new piece of news that's like another bonkers thing that's happening in the world. And bonkers is not the right word, because it is so bad, the things that are happening. And you've got the resistance, but even the resistance people have a problem with, and it just shows me that it doesn't matter what you're fighting for, it matters how you are fighting for it. And Vis, you would think that Vis would automatically side with the people that are resisting the hierarchy because they killed his family, but he doesn't go with them because he disagrees with their methods. And it just shows how his moral compass is so strong. And the people, like, they're murdering people in the streets. They are killing whole pyramids. And that is not the way you go about affecting change, because then you become as bad as the person that you're trying to fight. Yeah, I never really gave it that much thought in the first read, because I just assumed they were the good guys. I just assumed that everybody, or not everybody, but the people that disagreed with the hierarchy would automatically like the Anguis. But it shows that sometimes it's a means to an end, isn't it? And the means really matters.
Yes, it's like we said in Colombia, there is basically a different dog with the same bone. So it's no point there, okay, because they are against the hierarchy, they automatically will go to the Angus because they're doing basically the same thing the other ones are doing.
And also, you can infer that they are also using will. So they are kind of fighting fire with fire. So they're using the will to fight against the will. And it's kind of like, well, do you agree with it or not? And Vis is very firmly against it. And the Anguis is kind of like, well, we got to use their own power against them type thing. And then it kind of shows that, does power corrupt you? It's really interesting. And I didn't give it too much thought before.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, oh, well, he'll end up being with them, or he'll do the right thing.
I was never meant to love a human. But then, I saw her. I wasn't supposed to touch that fruit, but I took it, and I ate it. I was the most loyal of angels, until I lost her. Now they call me the devil, and I'll burn heaven itself before I lose her again.
Memoirs of Luzbel, a dark fantasy novel. Book 1 of the Luzbel saga. Now available on Amazon.
Also, the fact that they went to the academy, I picked up so many details the second time round. He had a bit of a tour on the way out, but I didn't, in the first read, I'm like starting to question whether I actually paid attention at all, or whether I just like devoured this book. Things like having a token for the big wall, the big doors, they're clearly hiding stuff. Yeah. They don't want people to get in. There are things on the island that you pointed out, some ruins that Vis has to go and investigate. I completely missed that.
Really?
Yeah. And they're so important.
Well, yeah, because
it's so important.
When Vis was talking about the transvect, he said that this is kind of like relative new. There's been on just like 100 years ago, and it wasn't because they invented. It was just because they found the technology in some ruins. And then when Ulciscor was talking about these ruins as well, then maybe there's like a weapon that everyone is like getting scared about. I was like, okay, that might explain as well how Sedocia managed to like take the wheel or block the wheel from
Ulciscor. Yeah, with the arrow.
Yeah, so I thought it might be all related or something.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed the humour, especially the bit where Vis is in the transvect and he's trying to get away and he doesn't know which lever to pull. And then he pulls the red lever and like half the transvect drops down. And then he's like, oh, I hope I didn't injure anyone. And then he's like, it's just the hierarchy's technology. And then he tries the yellow one, and then he just wakes up in the infirmary. So quite clearly he has made a mistake pulling the wrong lever, but we don't know. And it's quite funny.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed the bit at the orphanage where Ulciscor puts the bully kid in his place.
Oh, yeah. Vermes.
Yeah. He kind of just says,
you're not adopted because you're really unpleasant.
You're just a really unpleasant child. And even I'm sorry, you've set me off, but the bit where he has been sneaking out to the library and he has to come up with an excuse and he's like, I'm not leaving her, and he pretends he's fallen in love with somebody and that he's sneaking out for that. Yeah. And Ulciscor like sees right through it. But I just found it really funny the second time round. But the first time around, I was just desperately trying to like work out what was going on. I probably missed some of that stuff.
Yeah. For me, it was really funny as well when he was talking with Viridius, and when he found out about the shoulder, that was because he had to jump out from the from that, and they were like, "Well, as a doctor, I will tell you that you should look for other ways to land or to disembark." Was the word? Yeah,
to disembark.
So that was funny.
Yeah, and they smiled at each other. Is there anything that you're struggling with?
Well, yeah, probably you noticed by now, but I'm struggling with the names. Honestly. And yeah, Spanish is part Latin. There's a lot of things that are really similar, but they are not. So a couple of times I had to reread the names of the characters, the cities, all the places, because it's just... And having the audiobook as well, and then reading the book, and definitely how the way that you say, the way that you have it there, how you read it is completely different. Yeah. So yeah, that's something that I'm struggling.
Now you've said that, I can't keep my theory in any longer. I have to say this: the names could be clues.
Yeah,
they are literal Latin words that make sense. Yeah. Did you pick up on it?
No, but when I'm thinking about names as a Ulciscor, for me, in Spanish, it can be like a little bit of like an inquisitor or something like this.
Oh, interesting. So I've got the Latin translations because I spotted this just in the reread because I was like, oh, it's so Latin. Like what? I just did some Googling.
Yeah.
Vis means power or force. So he's chosen that name, obviously. Mm-hmm. Ulciscor actually means revenge or punishment in Latin. And this is like fueling my theory that actually and you must be able to guess what Viridius means.
Could be something like verdict or...
Kind of. So verdict is probably the same root, the same Latin root. But if you think about veritaserum in Harry Potter, truth. So apparently Viridius would mean the most truthful, which again is like... And I honestly, I can't give any spoilers away, but we don't get this book. We don't get confirmation of who are the bad guys and who are the good guys. So I'm really excited to like lock in those theories.
And we haven't read the second one either. So if the answer is in the second one at this point, we don't know. Sedocia, obviously that's not her real name, but Sedicio, if I'm saying it right, I'm probably not, translates to sedition, rebellion, mutiny, or discord. And that clearly fits with her character, rebellion. So it's similar to in Fourth Wing, where we're looking at dragon names and looking for... I got so excited because I was like, yes, another thing where we can predict who people are. So just keep an eye on people's names. So you're struggling with the names, but I also think they could be the single biggest clue for what's to come. And to have a look to the names of the cities as well, if I had a special meaning as well.
Yeah, I didn't do that, which is a surprise because normally I get like I'm in a murder mystery with my pins on the wall. And,
yes. What about you? Anything you're struggling with?
So no, I gave this book 6 stars when I read it. There isn't anything I'm struggling with. I guess the reread is giving me more kind of like, I just love every single bit of the Academy. When he joins the Academy, it just gets so interesting. Like the classes, the structure, the friendships, the politics. Like I just love that part of the book. And I just wish we had more of it. I wish that he didn't miss the first term. I wish that he was adopted slightly sooner so we got the whole of the year. Because if you think about this, the Academy is only a year. So the second book and the third book are going to be quite different. And I just really love the Academy parts. And maybe it's like my links back to Fourth Wing or something, where you've got 3 years of that. They're split over 5 books, but I just wanted to eke out the bits of the Academy. And I'm sure like the strength of the few is going to be super good, even when you're not in that setting.
Yeah, maybe it could be like a professor or he stays there for a little bit longer, building a career or something.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to have Will, does he? So there are only, if we find out there are only a few jobs, and some of them you have to be like retired senators for, so, or a woman, a virgin woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's only going to be a few that he can get away with not seeding. So it's not really a struggle. I just was not ready to finish this book the first time round. And I think there has been some criticism from people that some parts are quite slow, but I love that because I just don't want anything. I just want to spend so much time in this world. And I don't know, maybe it's because I am originally an engineer, but I love magic. And I think that might be why I love this book so much, because they use magic to do engineering and the architecture and like the doors and the fact that you get a little bit of theory on the will locking, that when something is will locked in place, and it talks about how the transvect moves. And I was like completely geeking out because it's not electricity or it's not mechanics. It's magic that's holding this stuff together, but it actually works. He's done his research. He's looked at how trams work and how they pull themselves along with it, with electricity.
Yeah, after seeing the transfer, I really want to see if there's other things as cool as that.
There is. There's a really, really cool thing.
Cool.
I think you might see it in the next set of chapters.
Okay.
So my next question is, do you have any questions? Is there anything that you're like just not sure about?
Yeah, so kind of clear if in these 10 chapters they put in as there's a rule, it's clear. But when somebody is giving all the will to somebody else, we say that these people, they get like really tired and they start to look like older than what they actually are. So at the same time, the very first time when we see Ulciscor coming to the prison, he said that he looks like 20 years old. But in the way that he speaks, the way he treats Vis, it seems that he's older than this. So I wonder if maybe just because they're taking more will, then doesn't mean they stay younger as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it, but I think so. And that could also explain why Sedosha looks only a few years older.
Yeah. Because so far, Ulciscor looks like 20, then I think Viridius, he looks like 25. So all of them, they have like a high ranks. They are like in the 20s. And I found it funny that Ulciscor is now Vis' father, when he said that he looks like 20 and Vis is 17.
And he should be older than Viridius, because Viridius was in the same class as Siror, his brother of Ulciscor. So Ulciscor's the older brother, and he died 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he was in the same class as Viridius. So Viridius is probably only about 25. So yeah, that probably is about right. But he's not been seeding as much will or taking as much will because he's been at the academy and it's banned there.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. He's probably about his age. But I think Ulciscor should be older. He shouldn't look 20. He shouldn't look 5 years younger than the principal of the academy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
has to be something. That's why I said that I don't know if it was clear in this 10 chapters or maybe in the next ones. It will be an explanation about it.
Yeah, but also if you think about a Roman civilization, because I was thinking about this when the ages seemed a bit suspicious. You think about a Roman civilization and people did die younger.
Yeah.
So they had to advance quicker. So you would have had senators that were really young.
30s.
Yeah, you would have to. If I said die, wouldn't they?
Yeah, because I think the life expectation of the stands were between 40, 50s.
Yeah, but you never really know if that's true, do you? Because there was so much, if it's an average, there was so much infant mortality. So your infant mortality rate was very high. So most kids maybe didn't make it past the age of 10, which drags the age down. But actually, if you cut the kids off, which is a really sad thing, but if you take, you probably did get 50 and 60-year-old people. It's the same like in the Stone Age and stuff, isn't it? The average age is so skewed because infant mortality was just so high that you don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean everybody died before they got to 30 or 40.
There will be an exception. Like right now as well, we have people that live longer than 100 years.
Yeah, but it's like once you make it past the age of 10, you probably live till you're about 50. I don't know what it was in the Roman Empire, but you've got to get to that past the infant mortality stage, and then probably everybody lived till they were about 50. But I don't know, we need a historian to correct us. There is definitely something about infant mortality rates, though, that drags because childbirth was so dangerous in those times. And obviously a lot of women didn't make it through childbirth as well, which drags the age down.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a history lesson from somebody who knows absolutely nothing about history, but is trying to apply some logic. I don't have any questions yet. I do have lots of questions, but I haven't quite worked out how to ask them without spoilers. So we'll just see how this segment goes for me, because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
Okay.
So the next part of the show, the will of the maybe. See what we did there? This is the part of the show that this season we are calling the will of the maybe, where we will lock in your predictions for the rest of the book and possibly mine for future books, in the hopes that we get at least something right by the end of the series.
Okay, she'll start first.
Yeah, I can't give many. Okay. And I've already talked about some.
Well, obviously you know if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep quiet.
So, my first theory is that we will see Natio free before the book ends.
Natio, to remind people,
Natio is the guy who's in prison, and Ulciscor go to see, asking for Viridius if he was the one who put it there on prison. Mm-hmm. So he's still there in the Sapper. And I think once they start to clear a little bit about what happened there, he will be free.
The Sappers are awful, aren't they?
Yes. They say that it's not like they've been sleeping all the time. They're conscious about what's going on in the world.
Why do you think, I've got a question for you. Why do you think Vis is immune to the Sapper?
I think the explanation is because, or at least from the point that I see that, is that because he didn't do this ritual when they had to do like giving the will or offering the will. It's like he doesn't have a link with anything. They haven't put in like, it's going to say like a port for striking
like
the wheel.
In The Matrix.
Yes, so he doesn't have the little thing that you plug the Sapper.
Interesting, because I didn't get that.
When he was talking with Ulciscor,
I know that happened, but even Vis expected something to happen, didn't he?
Yeah, so that's the theory that they have. It's not like the confirmation, or it's not the, yes, it's because of that. That's what they believe. But also I was thinking as well, if maybe he as a prince, then maybe they did something for him when he was little to prevent that he would want to give it the will to somebody.
Maybe that's why they eradicated that royal family, because they were just not susceptible to it. Like, I don't know, because there is probably an answer somewhere in this book, and I maybe just missed it. So I might embarrass myself here, because yes, I've read it. But, like, I got different vibes from the reread, and I don't remember that being resolved. But it might be.
Yes.
I just felt that it wouldn't have worked on him anyway, even if he tried.
Well, he said that he felt something, but obviously it didn't grab him as it should be. He felt like maybe something close or something on the hand.
But the Sappers are awful. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Next series.
Okay, we're still in prison, and we're gonna talk now about Rolf. There is Vis' colleague in prison. And I thought it was a little bit suspicious when he was trying to keep Vis in prison that night. He said that you could stay here, you will get less bruises, it will be better for him, that kind of stuff. And I got the feeling that he knew that night he has to fight Sextus, So I don't know if maybe he has something there in the background and he knows more about everything that's going on, and he was trying to help Vis, or trying to prevent that he goes to this fight, because he thought that it would be really bad for him.
Interesting. I'm quite intrigued by this character, because he also seems to be like losing it, doesn't he?
Yes, he's just been a couple of months there, so I don't know if he has any kind of relationship with Ellenhard, that is the woman who is organizing these fights. But that's something that I thought there could be.
Interesting.
Also, talking about Ellenhard, she is really suspicious about Vis, but she was more intrigued about the scars on the back. And I don't know if it's just because it's something about the background of Vis, or it's something about the orphanage where he is. Because it seems that every time that he is saying that he doesn't want to be part of all of this, he gets punished. And this punishment is, I don't know if he gets whipped in the back.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it?
Yes, so I don't know if that's the only explanation about it, or if it's something else that Ellenhard is feeling like intrigue about that. So I found that interesting.
Yeah.
Also, another theory, the arrow, the knockdown Ulciscor. I think that has to be something related to the sapper. There's like a principle there, because Ulciscor, when he was fighting against this man in these woods, he had the eyes totally black. That means that he is right now powered up by will. And at the moment that this arrow hits him, it's like it cuts the will, and that's why he just plummeted, because it was the will he was taking, like keep moving. So I'm thinking that it has to be like something there.
I mean, it makes complete sense. I can't confirm or deny, but I like your theory.
Yeah. And last is the unruly intrigue about Sadoshia, because she knew Vis even when it was the very first time when they meet each other. But obviously she knew their real name, she knew like about his past. So I got a vibe that maybe she is related, or the parents, they used to work for the parents of Vis when they were the king and queens of Zeus. So I'm thinking there's a relationship there, and that's why she knows everything about him. That maybe she always knew him as the prince from the distance.
There are so many secrets to Sadoshia, and just one plot twist that just is like so cool. I can't wait to get there.
Plot twist, okay.
Yeah, it's like a mic drop moment. So good.
Yeah.
Just keep your eye on her. So sticking with the theme of precognition, let's look at the chapters we're going to cover next week. We are going to do chapters 11 to 23. We're going to race through this book. There's a lot of chapters.
It's a really big book, yeah.
It's a really big book, and it's got teeny tiny writing, which is great for me because I love it.
Yeah.
So go away and read 11 to 23 and come back and chat with us next week. Before we close the show, if you listened to our previous series, you will know we like to end on a question. So for this season, we are calling it Sapping for Secrets. This is the part of the show where we pose ourselves a question and sap deep into our will for the answers. Unlike our main man Vis, we are not immune to the sapper. There's no dodging, no scheming, just the truth. So I'm going to ask you the question, but we would also like to hear the answers from our listeners. So when we ask the question, give us your answer in the comments wherever you're listening. So Vis chose to strip to his birthday suit at Fight Club. If you were forced into a fight that you didn't sign up for and you knew you were going to lose, or everyone thought you were going to lose, what would be your go-to strategy? So don't answer it now. Answer it next week. And I'd love to hear what everybody else's answers are too. Would you strip off? Would you run away? I know there's lots of strategy. Strip off and run away, or just run away. I don't know. But that's all we've got time for this week. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy Pod. Come and join the conversation. We'd love to hear if you're reading along and what you think so far. So if you've got thoughts, send them our way.
And with this, we had just one more thing to say. Thank you for listening to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things fantasy fiction.
We'll see you next week for our read-along of chapters 11 to 23 and, of course, for more Faithfully Fantasy.
Bye!